So maybe this is stupid, but I promise I'm looking at the road, not on my camera. I just turned it on while I'm at a stoplight. We just went to see Ariel, the live-action version. And I swear I remember someone telling me that, like, the 7 daughters are, like... Well, they're the 7 seas, but, like... I feel like my brother or something told me that, like, they were 7 different seas. Not, like, the oceans, but, like, seas. Like, the Aegean, the red, the black, the dead. That kind of thing. And then they call Ariel red. So I was like, oh, she's the Red Sea. It's all seas in Eurasia and Africa. How many seas are inside Africa? Like, obviously there's some in Africa. Point is, I was, so with that background, and then on top of that, towards the beginning, Eric is like, it's a Spanish ship, let's go, see where they're going, or whatever. And so those two things combined, I was like, oh, obviously they're on the Mediterranean. Apparently not. Apparently, they literally said they're in Cuba. My brother-in-law afterwards was like, they explicitly said they're in Cuba. And I was like, the frick, that makes so much more sense. Or not Cuba, oh my heck, the Caribbean. They explicitly said they're in the Caribbean. I was like, that makes so much more sense, because everybody has not everybody, but like Sebastian and like a whole host of other people have Caribbean accents. There are a lot of people with British accents for some reason. Yeah, okay, colonialism, that makes sense. And then like American accents, which, if we're going for historical accuracy, you can't. We don't know what people sounded like back then. Anyways, not the point. The point is, I just, like, was sitting there this whole movie being upset because I'm like, what kind of island in the Mediterranean has jungle, like, marsh, and, beach? Like, there is no, like, jungle in the Mediterranean, really. Not like that. And then I'm like looking at the plants, like, these plants would not be in the Mediterranean. That's more of a tropical plant, excuse you. And then anyway, and just like, why does everyone have Caribbean accents? Like, the races of people are all over the place, which checks out for the Caribbean because, again, colonialism, but I was like, it's a little weird that, like, people are that all over the place in their races. It still is kind of random, but it does make a little more sense with the context. Anyway, so I'm just judging this movie based on thinking that it is in the Mediterranean, and apparently I was wrong, and life makes so much more sense now that I know that it's in the Caribbean, and I feel like I need to watch the whole thing again. Except I don't want to. I didn't super want to see it in the first place. Don't tell my mother. Melissa McCarthy was worth it. Under the Sea was fun. Although, it was weird they, like, anthropomorphized the animals in some ways, but none of them talked except, like, Flounder, Scuttle, and Sebastian. I don't know why they didn't just let them, like, talk and sing, despite the fact that they've been, that it's live action when they're anthropomorphized and otherwise changed in other ways. I was here, like, judging the ocean, which also makes a lot more sense now that I know that it's the Caribbean, but still is not perfect. And, anyway, I was just having a grand old time judging them. But apparently it's not that crazy. I still have some issues with it. I'm not gonna go into it here for spoilers' sake. Look at that cute dog. But, yeah, that's my rant about how I thought The Little Mermaid was in the flipping Mediterranean when it's in the Caribbean, and I have to go to therapy now. So bye!